Finding a decentralized AI project generating actual, non-inflationary protocol revenue is incredibly rare. FLOC stands out as one of those anomalies. This project operates with serious academic backing. The team holds awards from NeurIPS, one of the world's most prestigious machine learning conferences, and they are the only AI infrastructure project to receive a research grant from the Ethereum Foundation. The financial metrics reflect that pedigree. Over its first 10 months, FLOC generated 11.9 million tokens in real protocol fees. At current valuations, that translates to $2.7 million in pure on-chain revenue. But that massive revenue figure comes with a severe caveat. That entire $2.7 million was generated from exactly 16 training tasks. The narrative of decentralized AI is a permissionless global network where anyone can contribute and train models. Currently, FLOC operates much more like an elite, centrally curated beta test, with incredibly high barriers to entry. This chart plots FLOC's objective assessment scores on our evaluation matrix. The project lands squarely in Quadrant B, earning a 60 out of 100 for freedom and a concerning 58 out of 100 for returns. The low return score is driven by a stark financial reality. FLOC currently trades with a circulating market cap of roughly $18 million, while its fully diluted valuation looms at nearly $58 million. We need to determine if FLOC has the mechanics to become a highly scalable network worth your capital and compute, or if it is an overvalued walled garden marching toward a severe dilution crisis. Impressive academic credentials and high per-task revenue do not automatically result in a sustainable Web3 economy. The underlying architecture dictates whether those metrics can survive scale. Traditional AI training requires centralizing massive amounts of raw data onto a single server. When dealing with private, sensitive information, like medical records or financial histories, that centralization creates massive regulatory and privacy vulnerabilities. FLOC solves this using a technique called federated learning. Instead of moving the data to the model, federated learning trains the AI models exactly where the data already lives, directly on the user's devices. This diagram displays FLOC's three-tiered architecture. At the base is the AI arena, running on the base Layer 2 network. At the top is the API platform for deploying models. Sandwiched in the middle is the FL Alliance, which handles the complex federated learning process. The AI arena is currently live. This is where decentralized nodes submit their training models. Validators evaluate and score those submissions, and delegators stake their capital behind the participants they trust most. The FL Alliance layer is designed to process the actual data. It keeps all raw information entirely on local devices and only sends the mathematical model updates, the gradients, back to the blockchain to achieve consensus. They have already validated this approach in the healthcare sector. Cross-continental hospitals successfully collaborated to train an AI model for blood glucose prediction without ever sharing a single raw patient record between institutions. Here is the architectural reality check. The FL Alliance, the specific layer responsible for this exact privacy-preserving innovation, is still entirely in testnet. Compounding that issue is a significant trust vulnerability. FLOC's core smart contracts are partially closed source, and the team has not yet published a formal security audit for the protocol. Because the FL Alliance is not yet on mainnet and the contracts remain unaudited, you cannot verify the code yourself. Participation right now requires placing complete trust in the team's reputation. The federated learning design is an elegant solution to data sovereignty. But today, FLOC's biggest technological differentiator remains a promise, not a production reality. To understand the immediate risk, we have to move away from the underlying technology and look at the raw on-chain economic metrics FLOC produced over its first 10 months. This bar chart compares FLOC's total revenue against its task volume. When you divide that $2.7 million by the volume, you reveal an exceptionally high average of $169,000 generated per individual training task. That high payout is driven by a severe bottleneck. Task creation on FLOC is not permissionless. Every single task executed on the network so far has been centrally dictated and created by the core FLOC team. The human capital competing for these rare, lucrative tasks is intense. The network features 196 active training nodes, which includes top 50 Kaglers, highly competitive and elite data scientists, monitored by 262 active validators. To participate, these users must navigate the GM FLOC mechanism. The protocol requires you to take your liquid FLOC tokens and lock them up in exchange for non-transferable GM FLOC, just to access the network. This line graph illustrates the GM-Flock lockup scale. The requirements are aggressive. To maximize your staking yield and voting power, you have to commit your capital for up to 365 days. The mechanism has effectively aligned the current community. Right now, 25% of the entire circulating supply has been voluntarily locked by users for an average duration of 265 days. But there is a massive structural threat looming over that alignment. Exactly 68.5% of Flock's total 1 billion token supply is currently locked globally, waiting to enter the market. This incoming supply shock arrives through two channels: a 60-month decaying emission schedule for community tokens, and major unlocks for the team and investors, scheduled to hit in March 2026. The high revenue per task looks impressive, but it is currently too infrequent to offset the massive dilution overhang. This places intense downward pressure on the project's relatively small $18 million market cap. Unless FLOC can rapidly and organically scale its task creation from 16 to thousands, the current economic engine simply cannot absorb the impending token inflation. The final evaluation requires shifting away from what FLOC is and defining exactly who should and shouldn't participate in the network under its current conditions. This flowchart breaks down our analysis for three distinct viewer profiles: the machine learning participant, the DEI observer, and the capital allocator. For the ML participant, specifically top-tier AI engineers and data scientists, FLOC represents a strong fit. With low task volume, payouts for the few experts capable of training these models are massive. If you have the skill, the compensation justifies the effort. For the DAI observer looking to operate a validator node, this is a moderate fit, requiring heavy caution. The mandatory multi-month GM Flock lockup forces a blind bet. You wager that decentralized task creation successfully launches before your tokens finally unlock. For the short-term capital allocator, Flock is a definitive poor fit. The liquidity risks are severe. The token averages only $1.6 million in daily trading volume, and with 68.5% of the total supply locked and waiting to dilute the pool, short-term flipping is incredibly dangerous. Flock has successfully built a scientifically rigorous, high-value AI laboratory, but it has not yet built a decentralized economy. You have to decide if you are willing to lock your time and capital into subsidizing this experiment before it proves it can survive in the permissionless open market.